Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special Comic Art Spotlight. We'll be talking to Micah Spivak in a minute regarding the ComicConnect number 46 event auction, and we're going to preview some of those artworks that are in that auction that ends in 4 short days. So before we get started, just a couple of quick notes. If you were expecting the Thursday email, so was I. I wrote it and forgot to click send on it. So that's going to go out tomorrow, probably early in the morning. And as fate would have it, my flight is actually on Saturday morning, much to my chagrin. So I will do another live episode of a CAF Update 49 tomorrow. That won't be pre-recorded. So anybody who was hoping not to see me live will get to see me live one more time tomorrow. And outside of that, the 2-minute blip the 2-hour blip that everybody saw this morning from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. or a.m. Eastern was a network issue at my co-location. So half of the comic art world was down for a full 2 hours today, completely out of my hands. As soon as they fixed the problem, Calf and Albert and Mike and everybody was back up and running. But yeah, I was just sitting there on my hands waiting for them to fix everything. So there you go. So I'm going to bring Micah in right now, and we're going to talk about this event auction that is currently underway. How's it going, Micah?
Good. Hey, everybody. Hey, thanks for doing this again, Bill.
It's not a problem. Like I was telling you earlier, I'm so used to Vincent. It's a little bit of a change here. We won't get to see Vincent all dressed up.
Hopefully, I can be half as entertaining as Vince.
Well, yes, you may. We'll find out in the next hour. So you have 4 days left, right? It's
4 days
for the art portion of the 46th event auction. And hey, Kavi says hi. Hi, Micah.
Hey.
So any surprises so far? Anything that you've seen that as far as like the current bidding level that's piqued your interest?
It's hard to be surprised anymore, and it's also hard to judge where things are at, with time left. Things are going to do what they're going to do, and I expect action at the end, like always.
Right.
It's the good stuff is doing what it's supposed to. I'm pleased with a lot of things. So, all good so far.
Right. It's too early to tell, right? That's how it goes. Yeah,
exactly. It's like thinking you're going to win something based on the value it is, an hour before it ends.
I know. Anymore with auctions, it's like you can almost expect something to be 100% of what you expect it to be. So you really can't tell. And then there'll be deals that you expect to go 100% over where you think it's going to be, and it ends up right where it should be. So.
And it's good. It's my job to make our consigners happy. And so far, so good.
Well, James Henderson is looking forward to a crazy end to these auctions.
Me too. I'll be here. I'm watching it live.
Oh, I'm sure. Is that what you guys do? Do you actually kind of hang out at the office while the auctions are going on? Because I know you have those the continuation as the bids kind of go on. So
we do. We have at least 1 or 2 people in the office when auctions are ending, just in case somebody has a problem or if somebody needs to call, or if we have people who bid over the phone.
And you do take that at the office?
Yeah, we can enter bids for them on their accounts. So it's. Sometimes people are away or people are in the car or, some people don't have computers.
It happens. Hard to imagine.
It really does. We're full service.
Well, you have to be, right? If you're gonna be successful today, you got to be able to compete with all the other auction houses that are out there, whether they're in the U.S. or Europe. There's just so many places that are running high-level auctions seemingly weekly now that you got to offer the best service to get the best art.
It's true. And I think we've been getting good art, so I'm pleased with that too.
All right. Well, hey, why don't we start looking at some of the artwork here?
Yes.
And because we got a fair amount that we put in the queue, and I think this first piece is a really, really good example. And yes, that is the one. I'm gonna get the large image up on the screen here. Yeah, I love this page.
So we were trying to figure out if Ditko ever drew the Avengers. Ever. And I know he drew characters from the Avengers, but I don't know if he ever drew the team. And, and even the Fantastic Four, he didn't draw off, and Daredevil appeared in Spider-Man. The Fantastic Four appeared in Spider-Man, but the Avengers never did. And that's, it's super cool. I think I wrote in the description, I defy somebody to find a Spider-Man page with more heroes and villains on it than this one.
Oh no, I agree. When
It's
I
pretty
saw this
stellar.
one, I knew this was going to be the highlight of the auction, at least for me.
Also, one of my personal favorite issues of Spider-Man, also because it's a lot of angst. It's a very angsty issue.
I agree. But yeah, that's I love the way the thing's drawn in there. That's just nobody but he could make them look quite like that. You know, the thing.
I like the way he drew Captain America looking annoyed and the Wasp looking annoyed.
Yeah, and poor Daredevil, he's like, I thought my sharp senses could have seen this coming. How,
I thought I was a better judge of character than him.
Yeah, no, exactly. I love this page, so I'm really looking forward to seeing where this one goes. I know it's going to be featured highly in our market report when we write for this particular auction, which would be, I think that would come out on the 30th. So yeah, looking forward to seeing where this one ends up for sure.
I'm just as interested in seeing how the next page that you're going to show does, because that's something you see very rarely.
All right, let me go over to here.
That's this one. So yeah, John Romita's first issue of Spider-Man, and it's like just as good as a Spidey Green Goblin page as you can want. You get, it's like, yeah, so he's not wearing the mask, but that's the cover of the issue is right there. It's awesome.
Exactly.
I can only imagine the pressure that Romita felt when he drew this issue.
No, that's a beauty.
A little Spidey head on the back of the page there too. I don't know if you can see it. It's like it's a very faint pencil, and there's some faces up at the top. Back of the art bonus. Always fun.
But yeah, no, it's a totally beautiful page. I love that first panel too.
Yeah, it's Romita, at that time, just so good.
Yeah, that's
not that Romita was ever not good, but you know what I mean. It's just,
right. No. It's that classic early Marvel feel that that turned everybody on to Romita's style.
Absolutely,
and earned him the position that he got, as far as designing so many characters for Marvel. And
I'd actually be curious to go and read the letters like 2 or 3 issues after this to see what their fans at the time thought of the switch from Ditko to Romita.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure
that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure it was mixed.
Yeah, I would think so. But you're right. I would have to, Berkey would probably be a good one. He probably knows all the answers to those questions.
He probably does. I would actually be disappointed if he didn't.
Exactly. Let's go to this next one here. But yeah, that one's a really incredible page. And like you said, having the cover image right there, and that's
when that came in, it was just it was cool. Like it's what's exciting for me is when things come in that are like that. There's some other pieces coming up that, like, when they came in the office, it was like, wow, like it's things you don't get to see very often.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hear you. I mean, I've never seen this page before in person, so this is I love it.
Next, that's the first Bucky Captain America cover. What issue is it? It's issue something or other.
It's 34.
Yeah. So Alex Ross. My favorite part of this cover is the reflection of Cap in Cap's head.
That's funny. I didn't notice that at first.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't notice that.
That's, one of those Alex Ross things that he does so well.
Mm-hmm.
And these are just good comics. These, for an old time guy like myself, it's hard for me to really latch on to like current comics. And these Brubaker's Winter Soldier Captain America run was really good. And, that's a pretty key cover from that run. I like it.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. This is issue 34 from 2005.
Yeah, I don't like to think about how old those comics are.
I know. I'm born in the 60s, so it's just funny when you think about some of these comics and where they're at, and you just realize, yeah, you're old at this point.
Well, when people started talking about things that I bought new as being vintage, that's when I knew I was old.
Right. But yeah, that's a beauty right there.
Yeah, I think the next one is another Alex Ross, right?
Yes, it is.
So this the following up on the last one, this is the return of Steve Rogers as Captain America. Sorry for the glare, everybody. So yeah, Steve Rogers coming back as Captain America, which is also cool. Also by Brubaker. This is from the Captain America Reborn miniseries, but another, one of those like Alex Ross sort of like trademark things that he does so well, like images like this, simple and really exciting.
Right. No, I always love when he does those, when he just does the wash effect.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to watercolor. I couldn't get anywhere close to that, but his work is so darn beautiful.
I never realized that you had to be patient and let the paint dry before you painted over it to get that really nice watercolor effect. And I don't have that kind of patience as an artist.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. I wouldn't either. All right, let's see what the next one is here. Next. Oh, that's right. The Jack Kirby FF Annual.
Kirby Fantastic Four Annual number 2. Dr. Doom getting blasted with something. Some great Human Torch. You got Reed and Doom. Great. This is my favorite panel on the whole page, and it's just Kirby being Kirby. It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just a big blast of energy, which is basically I think how I would define Jack Kirby's career. Just one big blast of energy.
Very, very nice. Yeah, I always loved the way he drew the torch.
Yeah, I mean, he created all these characters, and he drew them the way they should look. Everybody's for basically the last what's that 60 years ago? Is it 70 years? 60 years? 60 years.
It would be just under 60. So
and everybody's still drawing the Human Torch the way Kirby did it in 1961.
Right. Well, you can't do it any better than the best.
Yeah. These are as exciting as 2 pieces of art that have ever come in since I've been here. These 2 rare bit fiends. I mean, they're 60 years old is nothing. These are almost 120 years old.
Right.
And this is like watching a guy invent how to draw comics and how people read comics. It's like everything about comics was being invented, and McKay did it great, and it takes great artists to innovate. And the fact that people care about these 120 years later is a testament to how good they are. And they're funny, they're beautiful, and just rare as all get out.
I agree. These must be pretty cool for you to have. I know you're a real historian of the media, so these have to be really important.
Thank you. And this one basically has is that the one? No, the other one. The other one basically has you could say Mr. Fantastic or Plastic Man or Oh,
right.
I wonder if there was a stretchy character in comics before this. I don't know. It's 1908. So who knows? Maybe not.
Right. Yeah, you're right. 1908. Wow. Those are incredible.
And everybody thinks about McKay from Little Nemo, and Little Nemos are beautiful. Don't get me wrong; they're stunning. But I think that Rare Bit Fiends is funnier. They're a better read. It's the simpler gags. There's everyone is almost like a puzzle, and I think they're great.
I can't argue with you at all.
Nope. This beautiful Gene Colan.
Yeah.
This is as good a early Iron Man page as I've seen in a long time. It's just got everything about 60s Iron Man. Excuse me. That you could like that bottom panel. It's just perfect Iron Man panel. It's just great. Giacoya inks. I'm a big Giacoya fan. Inkers don't get enough credit.
Without credit, yeah. No, that last panel or the second to last panel is great.
It's just that could be a cover. It's fantastic. And was a 67 Colan. I mean, I think I've said this before, but Colan and John Buscema were like the 2 guys in Marvel in the 60s who drew in their own way. And they stood out because of that.
Yeah, I had a hard time with Colan early on, but
Yeah, it took me a while too.
I love his work now.
Me too. And speaking of, I think the next piece is another Colan.
Yes, it is. Daredevil number 30.
Number 30. Daredevil, and I think he's fighting Mr. Hyde and somebody else. Cobra, the Cobra. Yeah. But yeah, more of what I think more people associate Colan with Daredevil than with Iron Man. But yeah, I think he more than Wally would created the suit, which is important. No, can't take that away. But I think Colan is more responsible for establishing what Daredevil was going to look like going forward as a comic. And yeah, and again, he was great. This was Tartaglione inks on this one, also good.
Yeah, no, I mean he inked a lot.
He did.
I say his name so much during my weekly recap that I had to learn to say it right. So,
I'm pretty sure there are still names that I'm pronouncing wrong that I've probably been pronouncing wrong for 30 years.
Well, so that one's at $4,000. So that's good. That's
good. And I expect that to go up.
Oh, without question. Yeah. No. So, it's like you said. Sometimes it's a wait, but we've been doing a lot of talking about how everybody likes to wait until the last day.
Sure.
And your auction platform's a little bit unique, so it's tough. You really want to wait till the end to make sure that you might get lucky, but that's just how it's best to be played really on any auction platform, of course.
Yeah, I'm sure if you put in some silly money, you can walk away and assume you're going to win. But where's the fun in that?
Right. Exactly. No, there is
no stress involved. It's not fun.
Completely agree.
That's
yeah. No.
I get stressful watching auctions that I'm not bidding in.
Yeah, I know. I was watching the auction earlier today, and I just had to turn it off because I found it's like a sporting event anymore, right? And you just really you can really get engrossed in it and not get any work done. So I just turned it off.
100%, I agree.
I mean, it's fun, but it's not. It's very, unless you're in there bidding. You really need to stay engaged. I don't know how anybody has the energy like when your auction is ending to be. But as long as the great thing is just being able to pick out the auctions that you're really after. And
I think it's interesting and I could argue enjoyable sometimes to watch what things go for that you're not bidding on. It's like there's a curiosity factor.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh well, what's that going to do? And I think that's part of it. You'd say there are times, when sitting through a stretch of an auction can be a little boring. I get it, but it's when you're watching between the things that you're interested in, that's when you see things that maybe you're like, oh, I didn't notice that before. Maybe like, oh, that seems like a reasonable price. I'm going to bid on that, and that that's part of the fun of watching a whole auction.
Sure,
it is a time commitment. I will allow that.
Yeah, no, with that. Hey, well, now that we can always do it in the comfort of our own homes, we can put it on one screen and do some work on the other one or watch some TV on the other one. I
Absolutely. I've been to auctions in person, and that can be more boring.
Totally understand. I've actually never sat through a live auction at a location. One day
I went to one and some convention charity auctions, but that's different.
Right. Yeah, I've been to many, Hero Initiative auctions,
and
a few other ones like that, but very different. But yeah, here's another great page.
Carl Burgos, creator of the Human Torch, here drawing Giant Man, which is also good. The Burgos and Everett, the guys who were around at the very beginning, we're still doing some really great work in the 60s. And you could argue probably better work. They had matured as artists. Everett's work in the 60s is a lot better than his work in the 40s.
I agree.
And Burgos is solid here. This is a good page. I like it. There's a lot of half erased pencils, which is always cool. You can see what the artist changed. That's It was like Giant Man here is totally repositioned. There's some sound effects over here that he cut out. Like that's things like that are the fun about original art. These two images down here, the two images down at the bottom are stats. They made the figures smaller.
Okay, I was going to ask you. So the original art's probably under them, and
the original art's under it. The parts that are exposed were white paint, covered up with white paint above the.
Got it.
Which is unfortunate, but
yeah,
the drawings don't exist somewhere else. So what are you going to do?
Right. But Giant Man wasn't giant enough, so they had to reduce the characters. It happens.
Stanley going like, Giant Man's too small.
Right, and they can't like stat him up. They probably already lettered it. So
it was probably lettered before it was inked, assuming that it was done in the standard sort of
sure
fashion. Whereas unlike EC pages, which were lettered before they were penciled.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the panel breakdowns on EC. This is a totally aside because it's totally irrelevant to what we're talking about. But yeah, the EC pages the panels were bordered and lettered and then given to the penciler.
Huh.
So that's why when you look at if you look at the Master Race, where Kriegstein said, to hell with that panel layout, I'm going to make my own.
Yeah.
A lot of the captions are going across 2 or 3 panels.
Oh. Okay.
Because he would break one panel up into 2 or 3, but the lettering was already there.
Interesting.
A little bit of history for everybody today.
Yeah. See, I told you were a historian. I knew it. All right.
Filled with mostly useless information.
Well, in our hobby, there's really no limit to the useless information, and it's incredibly valuable. You could say it's
I take it back. It's interesting and useful information to a very small percentage of people.
Right.
Next, more Silver Age Marvel. This one's Dick Ayers, more Giant Man.
Yep.
This one's got the Wasp in it and a giant rabbit. What more do you need? What more do you need in art than the Giant Man, the Wasp, and a bunny? And a bunny towering over it. So Giant Man appears in this. Actually, I don't know if he's Giant Man here or if he's just normal sized Ant-Man. Because he's little and then he's big, and I think he's just normal sized. So let's say he's Ant-Man here with the appearance of being giant because he's normal sized. And the Wasp is little.
The early days of Marvel.
Yes, but still cool. Ayers pencils and inks, which is cool too.
Oh yeah.
That's a great panel. That last panel is fantastic. The big face close up.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Spooky villain with his evil mustache.
Yeah, he looks like he's a magician of some kind.
He is the magician, I believe.
He is the magician. So yeah.
He's not just a magician, Bill. He's the magician.
I'm getting a history lesson today. All right, let's look at the next one here. Oh, the partridge.
The partridges.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Back in my early youth.
You have a John, what's his name? Sean Cassidy, right?
Yeah.
You have a Sean Cassidy poster up on your wall?
I did not have a poster on my wall. Oh, look, there's Vincent. See, I thought we were going to miss Vincent tonight. There he is.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
But no, I did not. But, I knew plenty of, how could you, Teen Beat and all those other magazines, they were always set up right next to the comics,
absolutely.
The drugstore to buy everything. So you saw all those all the time. Remember, they would always sell those. These were they would have magazines of these with just posters inside of them,
Oh, I remember. You're not that much older than me, Bill. These covers are cool, and they're rare. You don't see them. These off-brand covers from this time period. I got Danny Bonaducci. What do you need?
Exactly.
I don't remember the names of all the actors.
No, I haven't watched it. I haven't seen an episode of any of that in years. But it's got the classic.
It's got the bus. It's got the bus there. Yeah. What this little flower print skirt. It's groovy, is what it is. It's groovy, but it's not the grooviest cover we have. So we'll get to the grooviest cover later.
All right. This is a Al Williamson.
1949. 51.
51. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, it's one of the, I like that Williamson and Frazetta were such good friends. Like I like when they worked together just because, I know how close they were. And, this looks like them having a good time drawing some Westerns. I would say this page is probably mostly Williamson, but there's definitely some stuff in here that looks like Frazetta for sure. But it's just neat, good time Western fun. From Toby Press. Who could forget the classic comic book publisher Toby Press?
Yeah, no, that's great. It really is.
Yeah, no, it's and honestly, probably the a nice more affordable anyway way to get Williamson and Frazetta than if it were like a science fiction page or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What are we up to?
We are going up to
the
Black Orchid.
This was another batch of stuff that when it came in was super exciting. This is my, this is my like childhood here. These sort of early Neil Gaiman, Dave McKean collaborations. Like Black Orchid was in 1988. Again, sorry for the glare, but the pages are huge. They're beautiful. They're really dense.
Yeah, that's 15 by 22.
Yeah. Wow. And McKean, as McKean went along, he started actually painting less. Like he was doing what he wanted. He was achieving what he wanted to do with less paint. But in these earlier pages, as Black Orchid and Arkham Asylum, it's really dense painting. I love the pipes. And they got the Mad Hatter. This is a cool page. I like this page a lot. What else we got? And then this other one, there's another just like really great atmospheric McKean on the next one there. It's like
yeah, it's a little bit spookier.
Yeah, it's and I can't say that I totally understood Black Orchid when I read it in 1988, but I did enjoy it and it was beautiful. It's one of those McKean. It was one of a group of, like sort of, painters who made comics in the late 80s, who, for me anyway, sort of changed my idea of what comics were supposed to look like. Mm-hmm. And so McKean and Kent Williams and John Muth and Scott Hampton, these guys who came in and said, okay, we appreciate how everybody else does this, but we're going to do it different, and it's going to be just as good. And not saying one is better, it's just, different, and, showing the versatility of comics.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, bringing a very illustrative approach to the medium.
Yep. And you can't go wrong with these early Neil Gaiman comics. They're great. And Signal to Noise, which is what the other pages are from, which is a little bit later. I think it's 92. But also just, just beautiful.
Oh, I can't argue with you on that one. No, I never read. Did I? I can't say that I never read Black Orchid. I actually have a copy, but I've never. I don't recall reading. I buy a lot of books and I end up not reading them. Sadly,
I can't relate to that at all.
One of these days, I will get to it.
It's good. It's only 3 issues. It's not that long.
Right.
I mean, 48-page issues, but still.
And sorry, I didn't pull this one up to this.
That's okay. Yeah. This, McKean sort of becoming sort of more, a little abstract, a little expressionist, but just beautiful drawing. If this were hanging in a museum and somebody said it was 150 years old, you'd look at it and say, yeah, that seems right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's
just cool, really beautiful technique. He's and still is a remarkable artist. Yeah, that's the other one. This one, I love the colors in this. It's like, I don't know if you can really tell on the screen, but it's like there's some pink in here that really pops on the original. And probably didn't print great either. And this is much more, you can see from the faces in this page is McKean's looking at German expressionism and sort of that like Eastern Bloc art from the early 20th century. Just fantastic. And you can the balloons are all out there, so you can read the page from the also.
So that's the overlay, like onto the back. Okay.
Yep.
Very nice. Let's see.
What's next?
We
got to run through some stuff. We don't have a whole lot of time.
Frank Springer.
And this is the grooviest cover. I don't know that there's a groovier Spider-Man cover that's ever been made. It's the Death Dance of the Hypno Hustler. Maybe my favorite tagline that's ever been on a comic, Saturday Night Führer.
Oh my gosh.
This cover, I love this. I love this piece. This is like this is what I love about comics from this time period. It's just this complete embracing of just what the world is like at that moment.
Yeah, well, 1978.
Yep.
Wow.
And you weren't going to keep Spider-Man out of Studio 54. He was hip. He was in college then.
Right. I mean, you could get in when you were in your early teens if you were tall enough, I think.
It's true. Go do some unsavory things with Mick Jagger.
That's right. But yeah, no, that's totally cool. And I haven't seen that one before.
I don't think I'd ever seen this one either.
All right, very good.
Let's burn through some stuff.
All right. Yes. Stephen Platt up next.
Stephen Platt. This is the last page of the last issue of that Moon Knight series, which is cool. And you get a lot of that. For me, I mean, Platt was really interesting in just the way he took that style of art from that time period and just like cranked it up as high as he could.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got like all the trademarks of that early 90s comics with I think a level of skill that maybe a lot of those guys didn't have. And he was like, I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm going to go all in and make it crazy. And I think that's why people still care about this stuff. It's like Stephen Platt, when was the last time he drew a comic book?
Right.
And the fact that people still care is a testament to his ability. And it's because I've seen it happen before where, somebody will be really hot and then they stop making comics and people forget.
Mm-hmm.
And the artists that last are the ones that left an impression. And Stephen Platt for sure left an impression.
Platt's always been really popular. I mean, early on, people really dug his artwork. And I mean, I'm trying to remember who told me the story of meeting Platt while he was still in college. I don't even remember who that was I was talking to, but they were at a show. I think it was another artist. And then they were going through this. They met, didn't know it was Stephen Platt, but they were looking through this portfolio and like, kid, you got great talent. You're going to be in comics one day. And it turned out it was Stephen Platt.
Was he in comics already?
I did way too many interviews. I can't remember who the heck I was talking with, but I know it was another creator. Might have been during Comic Art Live. So one of the interviews there, but that's just kind of cool. It shows you the guy had talent early on, probably 19, 18, and they knew it, and the name stuck with him enough that when Platt was in comics, that he was like, damn, he made it, and he made it good.
He did. I wonder what he's doing.
Do not know.
Now I want to find out. Now I'm curious. I went on to the other
Romita. All right.
Romita. This page is cool. When this page came in, because the art says Spider-Man 116 on it, and I was looking at it and I was like, that doesn't look like Spider-Man 116 to me. It looks too polished for Romita to be that late. And so I did a little work, and that's when I found out that it was originally from the Spectacular Spider-Man magazine, which is 1968. Spider-Man 116 is like 1973 or 74.
Mm-hmm.
And so because so it was drawn for the magazine, which was printed in black and white. And I don't think Romita would have done as much shadow in this page as he would have if it were originally drawn for color. So like that last panel with all the black, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's true. It's very, it's not normal for him to do that.
And Romita does things like that. Romita does play with shadows, but this is stark.
Mm-hmm. It always comes back to knowing, needing to know how it's going to be printed.
Yep.
I've learned that through the interviews as well. Just the people when they knew it was going to be printed one way or another, they modified their inking styles specifically.
Sure, and you should approach differently if something's going to be in color and black and white. It just makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Or
you don't want to
print it on.
You wouldn't want to bog a drawing down with Zipatone if it's going to be colored, especially modern coloring where it's very, gradations. But that's, but you can take advantage of things like that when you're working in black and white.
Right. So I'm going to switch to a different screen here. I needed another tab, but thank you to Philip Bladen for saying it was Scott Williams. I knew it was recent, but why I couldn't think it was Scott. So Scott Williams saw his portfolio and was chatting with him, and then that became the flat story.
There you go.
All right, let me get the screen up here. Here we go.
Oh, we're up to.
I had to skip a couple. Remember, I had that snafu with the.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. So this that's the very first appearance of John Walker, who would become the U.S. agent.
Mm-hmm.
Television star John Walker. So we have the first two pages in this auction, the page 1 and 2 of Cap 323, when he was called the Super Patriot. And that's cool. First appearances are neat. It's I love seeing things that when the people making it had, they didn't know that this character was going to go on to be anybody, and it's like they were just having fun. So you get Super Patriot, and did they know he would eventually become Captain America at some point? I don't know, but I just think they're cool. I like, it's mid 80s, right? 80s, 86. In mid 80s Marvel Comics, that's my time period.
I always like Neary's work too. So.
Yeah, no, me too. And people think of him more as an inker than as a penciler, but he was pretty good at that too. Can't say that for all inkers.
You never know. There's John Beatty's in the audience tonight, John. Yeah. So I saw the comment earlier about this page. So yep, awesome.
Hey.
All right, let's see. Next one here. Another.
That's the next page.
323 page. Yep. Yeah. Wow.
That first panel is a stat, but the original is underneath it.
Another, just changing.
To reposition.
Reposition it. Yeah. Very nice.
That last panel where he's diving into the water is really good drawing.
Sploom.
Yeah. That's more Iron Man. George Tuska Iron Man fighting the Submariner. Another really good old Iron Man page. And I think Everett inked the Submariner faces in this whole issue. So it's Coletta inks except for the Submariner face, which was inked by Everett.
Huh.
It's another nice page, but another artist who maybe doesn't get the respect he deserves in Tuska.
Mm-hmm. No, and as prolific as he was, he would, but no, I totally get it. But he's got a very underrated style. I've always enjoyed Tuska's work. I'm
looking at this page and I'm thinking John Byrne was a fan.
Sure, yeah, from the action.
Yeah, and just this face, the woman's face.
Yeah,
a little Byrne in it. Nice, I like it. What's next?
What is next? A John Buscema Thor.
Buscema.
Issue 201.
Yeah. Like a lot of characters in this page. I like it. A lot of Thor's buddies.
Balder.
Yeah, Balder,
Balder.
and Lady Sif.
Yeah.
That's
a great page.
Yeah. Wow. Buscema's Thor is my favorite Buscema. I think his Thor and his Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
And he draws Thor the way I picture Thor in my head is the way John Buscema draws Thor.
Exactly. No. This is the perfect era for Thor for me. This is when I started buying them off the newsstand.
Yep.
But I do not have a Buscema Thor page in my collection yet.
Well, there's two of them. There's 2 pages from this issue in this auction.
Oh, so I remember saw this one, but I didn't. I don't.
Yeah, there's another one.
All right, I'll be on the lookout.
All right,
because it's fun. There's so much out there that I see a lot of average pages that I don't want to own. And this is a really nice page.
That's Black Lightning. That's Trevor Von Eden. This is maybe the best Black Lightning splash page from the whole run. Just big figure action. 1978. So, and the way Black Lightning's outfit looks, he could go beat Spider-Man at the disco.
Yeah, he might have been the guitarist, I believe.
He might have been. But yeah, and again, another underrated artist. Von Eden is not, he doesn't. Another guy from the '70s, a Bronze Age guy. He doesn't quite get the credit he deserves.
Mm-hmm. Well, another good one.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you the same question I asked another auction house last week. Typically, how do you, when you're getting in consignments, are you getting them in right up until the day when your consignment cutoff date, or do you kind of have things lined up leading up to the auction? And you feel pretty confident about what's going.
It's a mix. It's a mix of both. We try to get stuff in as far in advance as we can. We usually try to close the auction to new things about a month to 6 weeks ahead of the start, just because we need that time to promote, and we print things, and you don't want to get something great after you've printed all your promotional stuff, because then it's not in it.
Right.
But that's not to say that those rules aren't made to be bent.
Mm-hmm.
If something great comes in at a week or 2 weeks before the auction, we're not going to, and they say, well, I need you to put this up for auction right now. We're not going to say no.
Right. No. You just let them know it's not going to be part of the PR because you already printed everything.
Well, yeah. But we can still have, that's what the internet is for.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're listening, we still have another, month or so that we're accepting consignments for the next auction.
Now you do these is it 3 or 4?
Quarterly. Yeah, the next one will be August into September.
Okay.
Yeah. So more Gene Colan, Captain America, more Giacoya inks, Walter Cronkite.
Talking about Vietnam.
Yep. Well, Captain in Vietnam.
I
like the size. I like the way the figures are so big in this page. It's nice. It's a very intimate drawing by Colan.
Alex Johnson has told us that it's Tuska, not Tuska. I guess I've seen.
Wow. See there, I knew I was going to get called out.
I've always said Tuska. So, all right.
Well, he shouldn't have spelled it with a U then, shouldn't he?
It's a long U. All right. Thank you, Alex. I did not know that. All right. So we got Dominguez, unexpected cover. That's
great. DC 70s horror titles. I'm a big fan of these comics. Well, their weird roster of artists, South American artists.
Mm-hmm.
Just classic illustration. Like you could tell Dominguez learned how to draw from not looking at comics, from looking at art and illustration. And he's got like classic illustration cross hatching from like the 19th and early 20th century.
Sure. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I never read a lot of horror comics, but I love the art from them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I can testify to the quality of those horror comics, but they're beautiful.
Well, I think that's why I never got into them. It's like the stories were okay, but you look back on the work that was produced for them, and yeah, you can't argue about how talented those guys were.
And this is a page from one of my favorite artists on one of my favorite comics of all time. There's two, and then we have two pages in the auction. Two Chris Pachalo Shade the Changing Man pages. I don't even know what I can say about these. I love them. I have almost maybe as much original Chris Pachalo art in my collection as anybody, with a few exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the first pages I ever bought personally were Pachalo Shade pages back a very long time ago.
Right, and this is a period that you don't see too often.
On the market. And I've had this discussion with people about how those comics from the early '90s, all the pages were out there, they were all sold, and they almost never come up for sale.
Right. I've seen. I can't even say maybe only a handful of pages in the last even 10 years where this era. They just don't come up that often.
No, and I think it's because the people who bought them really like them, and they're not so valuable that people are tempted to sell them. But they're gaining steam. I'm pleased with where these are at in the auction so far. I'd like them to go a little higher. I think the market for these pages should be stronger. They're beautiful. And it's one of my favorite comics. I can't say enough about it. It should have a fancy reprint, which it doesn't.
It definitely deserves one.
Yeah. This early George Perez, inked by Neal Adams, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. This is the 1974. So this is one of his first Marvel jobs. I guess, so Neal Adams got George Perez his first job at Marvel, which isn't this, but then Adams inked this one, which is pretty neat. And it's a nice page. It's got a lot of dynamic layout in it, which is nice. Very George Perez-y, like things that you would expect from him later.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of environments and really meticulously crafted spaces. And
the whole computer panel reminds me of George. So
yeah, exactly. I think the next one is another Perez, which is weird, very strange. So,
one of these. Okay, sure.
2 pages drawn sideways.
Yeah.
So I'll hold it upright.
Yeah.
So this is the first time Perez ever drew the Fantastic Four, and this was his first story for Marvel that was printed in color in a regular comic. It's like the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu and stuff like that was printed in magazines. So this is it was from Creatures on the Loose. But yeah, you got Fantastic Four and Nick Fury fighting I'm blanking on his name. The Hitler clone.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Somebody in the show will let us.
Yeah, he was a Fantastic Four character. Yeah, that's it. Thanks. And then the second page here has the Man Wolf. So a little Spider-Man connection in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
It's Man Wolf fighting some Nazis. What's wrong with that?
Those are cool. Those you don't see those too often either.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'd ever actually seen a page like this before.
It's been a while. I think I've seen maybe 2 others. And maybe for all I know, it's the same page that I've seen before. But I know that. But
what's weird about it is that they're not consecutive pages.
Right. I never. Yep.
Yeah, it's page 12 and page 15, which doesn't make any sense. But
it exists.
Yeah. And I assume they were blown up and lettered on stats because there's like boxes for the balloons and the captions, but they're not actually on here. So they probably blew them up to normal size for printing.
Right.
And lettered them on those. That would be my guess anyway. My totally unprofessional guess.
Well, we've only got a few more minutes. I hate to say it. So
let's let me skip some stuff and show some cool things.
Yeah, why don't we pick the pieces you want to show off to end us here? Because I'm sure Jimmy Palmiotti is in the other green room waiting for me to check his camera.
I wouldn't want to upset Jimmy. So
All
this
right,
is
yeah, I'll make you full screen. Make it easier.
thanks. John Byrne's first issue of the Wolverine ongoing series, after Byrne had said he would never draw the X-Men again. So we have Byrne, Wolverine as Patch in Madripoor, causing trouble like Wolverine will do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
And he'll soon do again, I believe, in the Marvel Universe.
I'm sure he will. Eric Powell, really beautiful ink wash goon page by Eric Powell. It's a couple Powell pages in the auction. This one, just Powell's a great artist, and it really shows here. It's got a couple of what if pages that are inked by Dave Stevens, Master of Kung Fu. It's like what if Shang-Chi fought on the side of Fu Manchu. So you've got some great Master of Kung Fu stuff inked by Dave Stevens, which you can really tell. Really delicate, beautiful inking by Stevens, who's just, one of the best artists comics I've ever seen.
Without question.
It's Seth Fisher, the late great Seth Fisher, from his Batman story that he did.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy who was just extraordinarily talented and didn't produce anywhere near as much work as he should have. And I want to show, we have some animation art in this auction, which I don't want people to overlook. So this is a cell from Disney's Robin Hood. And we have several like Snow White production drawings. You can see it, Snow White. This is a production drawing of the Grinch, which is pretty cool.
Very nice.
Got Snoopy. Everybody loves Snoopy. At least I love Snoopy.
Yeah. Playing tennis.
And storyboard from Nightmare Before Christmas, which is also pretty neat. I think it's a good
sweet.
One. Weird characters. And I think we got through most of it. I'm pleased. Everybody, I hope everybody goes and checks everything out. The auction ends on Monday. It starts at 7. I think the art begins ending just before 8 o'clock Monday night, Eastern time. Go to ComicConnect.com. It's pretty straightforward once you get there. My email is public.
Register for an account. They need to get in there and get their account. So it's probably better if you're going to be checking it out anytime between now and then get your account created and be logged in.
Yep. I will be in the office while the auction is ending, so I'm happy to take people's calls. If anybody has any questions or if they want to, specifics about things before the bidding is fine. I'm fine with that. I'm happy to help.
Is there can they just call the regular office number, or is there?
The regular office number should ring at that point anyway. Should ring at my phone.
Okay. Yeah, I was just checking on your site for the contact information, and it's just all underneath the contact us. It's got the phone number.
Yep.
All right, Micah. Well, listen, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
An hour just ends up never being enough.
It really isn't.
No, and I've got to figure out how to budget my time better on these so that we can make, because
That's okay. I appreciate you letting us do these. It's fun.
Without question. I'm glad you and I got to do this one. Maybe we'll do the next one too.
Maybe. I'm happy to do it. No problem at all.
All right. Well, hit me with all the PR that I can post for you. Definitely when you're doing the you're asking for consignments, and you got another 30 days for that. Hit me up with those so we can get those on CAF.
I will do that. And I'll let you get going because we don't want Jimmy Palmiotti to be angry.
Nah. He's Jimmy. So all right. Well,
I know.
Thank you very much, Micah.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, just if you sit on the screen and you're on YouTube, it'll actually just kick you over to the Palmiotti interview that I've got going on, and it'll start in like 5 minutes. So I'll see everybody over there.
I want to wish Dino good luck guest hosting next week.
That's right. Well, he's only doing Sunday right now. He was going to do a Tuesday interview with somebody, and they had to back out. So I don't think we're going to be able to fill that slot this close. But you never know. I mean, maybe we might get somebody to stand in. But yeah, I'm out for 10 days, and it begins on Saturday, not Friday. I know Ron Lim asked that.
I'm jealous, and I hope you have a good time.
I will. I definitely will. Just everybody pay attention to my Facebook page. I'll be posting pictures of my feet in the ocean for 10 straight days. All right. See everybody soon. Thanks again, Micah.